Hello, it has been quite a bit since my last stream, and even longer well, since I last streamed this specifically. Okay. That's gonna be the last quest. Damn. Let's check these out first. Uh, in a mood. In case you haven't noticed, your poor hound spends all this time late on the rear deck whimpering like Gav in his cup. Something ain't right, and my gut tells me it's not to do with his supply of antelope bones.
What is it this time, Torgal?
Hey, don't sigh. He's a very good companion. In search of a lost home. Reluctant as I am to add to your burdens, I would ask your aid in a personal matter, albeit one that may be beneficial to your cause. There exist ancient texts deemed so injurious to modern thought that mere possession is deemed a crime, and it was a chance encounter with one such tome from a distance that sparked within me a scholastic curiosity which burns to this very day. I wish to enlist your aid in reclaiming the text. Should you require further incentive, know that I am willing to offer compensation for your services rendered.
Something tells me this is no mere adventure story.
I will not forget this kindness, my lord. I shall go to Eastport, but as soon as the...
Why aren't you there?
You alright? About that. Oi! Let's... You off then?
Hmm? Huh. Thank you, Uncle.
As for down here... Clive, my boy! Rutherford informs me that we owe you our thanks. Hadn't intended for you to get involved, but such are the times we live in, huh?
I would have done the same for anyone else.
You're far too modest, Clive. You'd make a terrible nobleman. But tell me, is the realm truly in as dire a state as Rutherford suggests?
From what little I saw, you were right to be worried.
I suppose I should have expected the worst. But I was rather hoping the great and good of the realm might have things a little more under control. Alas, it seems that firm leadership is in short supply these days, and without it, the people are bound to lose their way. We must move quickly.
But where do we start?
True, the challenges that face us are many. But in my estimation, there are two key areas to be addressed before any other. The realm's armies and her larders. As you've seen firsthand, it's every man and woman for themselves out there. Certain cities have banded together to try and maintain some semblance of order, yes? But such cases are few and far between. And yet, the only remedy for the chaos that faces us is unity. A unity that transcends even the borders laid down by our ancestors. In short, if Storm does not stand together, she will fall apart.
But how would one even begin to unite the realm?
The armies, my boy. As I told you already, we begin by restoring order among the ranks of those sworn to maintain it. Sadly, I doubt I could convince even the lowliest gaggle of privates to dig a latrine together. But I do know someone the High Commanders have been known to listen to on occasion. Field Marshal Eugen Havel.
I thought he was retired.
He was, until an Akashic army tore through Randalar and killed most of the rank and file. There is no man alive more capable. Literally. And as luck would have it, I've already spoken with him on the matter.
Of course you have.
And he's agreed to help.
Byron, you can talk.
On one
Stop
condition.
talking now.
That he first speaks with you personally. Havel has always been a man of frustratingly rigid principle, and he has certain qualms about clasping arms with, well, with an outlaw. I extolled your many virtues as best I could, of course, but the old goat was adamant that he be allowed to appraise you in person. You don't mind, do you, my boy?
Of course not. As long as chaos reigns, we will never build a better world. I'll do whatever it takes. And if the Field Marshal wishes to speak with me in person, then so be it.
That's the spirit.
I'll leave for Randalar at once. Would you send a Stolas?
Of course. Rutherford is already in the Dalmekian capital. I'll have him tell Havel to expect you forthwith.
Excellent. Thank you, Uncle.
No, thank you, Clive.
Must we away? My decision is made. You said it yourself. He must be stopped.
He must.
I would love to fight alongside Dion. Like, legitimately fight all alongside Dion, have him in my party and whatnot.
Ah, Clive. This is it then. Indeed.
You're wrong.
Of course.
Joshua, what's wrong? And don't say nothing.
It's not nothing. I've received word from Cyril. The Undying have found Father's will, or something akin to it.
His will? How and where?
In the crypt beneath Rosalith Castle. After Kupka was kind enough to drive out the Imperials, the Undying took the opportunity to recover what relics of the Duchy yet remained. And in the process of doing so, they found a letter from Father.
I'm surprised anything survived down there.
Cyril asked that I join him in Tabor at my convenience. I have been meaning to go, but... would you join me?
Of course. I want to know what's in that letter as much as you do.
Very well. I am ready to leave when you are.
I didn't realize I had that many ability points. Oh wait, yeah. Sorry, I'm resetting. Never mind.
Sid, do you have a moment?
By all means.
It's my old master. Seems there's no escaping her. She found some way to send me a letter. And something else. Records from a Waluda prison. Seems they were keeping a lot of bearers there.
How did she come by such a thing?
Finding bearers always was her strong point. And it seems the cells of Balmung Dark are full of them. Foreign captives, the masterless. Bearers no one would miss. And even better for her, bearers with no one to look after them. When ether started lapping at the walls, the jailers fled.
Leaving the bearers to be liberated by whoever happened to come along next.
Sid, I'd like to believe that I've earned your trust by now. And while I'm well aware that you've forbidden Cursebreakers from traveling to Waloed, I can't let those bearers die in their cells. I'd rather risk shipwreck on the Shadow Coast than leave them to starve.
We'll be needing the Enterprise if we're going to navigate the Narrow.
Does that mean...
I'm making an exception, but we travel together. And we stay no longer than we have to. Ash is an inhospitable place at the best of times. We save as many as we can, and we leave.
Thank you, Sid. There was a name in the prison register. A name from my past. Chadwick. Another of my former master's protégés. A gifted soldier, and the closest thing I had to family. The thought of him held captive in that place.
He must be very important to you.
He was. Is.
Then we find him.
The entrance to the prison lies in the shadow of Ravenwit Walls, just beyond the portcullis. We should head there as quickly as we can. I only pray there are still bearers alive to save.
As do I, Doris.
Sid, I was wondering if you could help me.
It depends what with.
A bearer, but recently freed from his bonds, is keen to join the Cursebreakers. As you know, the work we do is not easy, which is why we test every volunteer's suitability. I was hoping you could oversee this one's evaluation.
I don't mind, but why this one?
Because he wants to be a scout. Our ranks are filled with men and women capable of breaking chains and putting slavers to the sword. But scouting, we're few with the nose for that, which is why we still rely so heavily on Gav. And since he accompanies you on so many of your missions, I thought you might be better placed to recognize the traits in him that we should look for in those who'd fill his boots.
Sounds reasonable.
So you're happy to oversee the boys' test, then?
One can never have too many scouts.
Truer words, Sid. I'll let the initiate know that you'll be attending his trial, and that he is to proceed directly to Northreach in readiness.
No time like the present, eh?
No time like the present. I'll await you there.
Northreach. I don't suppose they could have chosen somewhere closer. Vivian, I read your note, and I'd be happy to help you find the book you're looking for.
Thank you, Clive. But tracking it down will not be easy. Are you sure?
Please. You have always granted me your wisdom and insight whenever I asked. It's only right that I return the favor. Or at least attempt to.
You are too kind. Alas, what I ask of you is rather more trying than delivering the odd lecture. I spoke with Harpocrates to see if he had any inkling as to where another copy might be found, but perhaps it is best that you hear the details from him.
If you say so.
Forgive me, Clive, for asking this of you. But this book, it set me on the path to becoming who I am today. Its importance cannot be overstated.
Okay.
No.
Is that right? Might be time to take... But if it weren't for Sid... Off you go, then.
Ty's tea stopped the fits. I only hope they stay stopped.
Greetings, Lord Marquis. His Grace and I. At first, it was my... My lord.
I am.
I do not doubt it.
Thank you.
May you return... May the Firebird's flame burn ever in your heart.
Thank you, my lord, for taking me in. Everyone here has been so kind. It reminds me of home. All this time, my heart has wandered hither and thither in search of the perfect companion. When all along he was here.
What do you think happened to Miss Midadol? I heard she was kicked out of...
Sid, you have to help us.
With what?
No. Well, yes, but that's not what we want to talk to you about.
It's Miss Midadol. She's been acting strange. Very strange. She's barely ever around.
When she is, she acts like we aren't even there. Her head's in a crowd.
In the clouds.
That's what I said, in the clouds.
Well, she does have a lot on her mind. When did you last see her?
Not long ago. Right after she got back from saving you from Stoneir.
Then it's probably just about the Enterprise. It did take quite a battering on the way there and back.
You didn't break it, did you, Sid? You really should be more careful around Miss Midadol's inventions. Don't listen to her. Even if you did break the Enterprise, you could put it back together, couldn't you?
But who's gonna put Miss Midadol back together? She seems really sad.
Why don't I go and see if I can cheer her up?
You do that? For us? She's in her dungeon.
Don't scare him. It's not a real dungeon.
Thanks for the warning. Mid, if you have a...
That's it! I knew it! The answer was right here under my arse all along! If this doesn't steer to the skies, nothing will.
To the skies? You aren't trying to give the Enterprise wings, are you?
What else would I be doing?
The children seem to think you're avoiding them. They're worried about you. Is this really so important that you need to shut yourself away from everyone?
The Enterprise is already the fastest ship in the realm, and that's with the sea beneath her. But what if she weren't bound to the waves? What if she weren't bound to anything at all? It's not fair. The gods get the skies all to themselves, so I'm gonna do something about it. The Fallen had their chance, but they relied too much on magic. And see where that got them? But not me. I've discovered how to do it without. Well, almost. First I need to make a prototype.
And is that a one-woman job?
Are you volunteering? I'll have you know the Enterprise is my baby. But if her godfather's offering to lend a hand, I'd be happy to take it. First, I'll need oil, and not just some old drippings from Miss Molly's spits in the Tub and Crown. Refined stuff, like they make in Ordill. Then I'll need some bone, or shell. Light, strong, preferably no longer attached to the beast it belongs to.
If it's beast bones you're after, I'm sure the Cursebreakers will know where you might find some.
No, they'll know where you might find some. You're the one who offered to help, remember?
I should speak with one of the curse breakers before I set off for Old Hill. See if I can't find this bone while I'm there as well.
Midadol mentioned a new project yet.
I always forget about this guy.
One moment you think you've freed the realm from her fate. The next, a darker one rears up to replace it. What awaits us when we finally attain release? True freedom? Or something else entirely?
I have a moment.
Of course.
It is an honor to finally speak with you. My name is Herman. I've been with the Cursebreakers for some time now, and I wish to be deployed to Ash. Any assignment will do.
No. The lands across the Narrow are too dangerous. I will not send good men and women to risk their lives needlessly. Why would you want to go back?
I need to retrieve something. Something important. I was raised in an orphanage. The Badbach Conservatory. Or rather, I was held captive there. It was not a place of nurture. It existed solely to turn bearer children into mindless weapons. We were tortured until we feared no pain. Tormented until our hearts turned to stone. And few ever survived long enough to become tools of the last king.
I can't imagine.
I lost so many. I can't even remember all their names, but they must be remembered. They cannot fade away, faceless and forgotten. The Institute was run with military precision. Every child measured, every name recorded, every death logged with meticulous care. Sid, allow me to travel to Ash and recover the registry so that my brothers and sisters might live on.
You were a good friend, Herman. But the fact remains that Ash is simply too dangerous.
Sid, please. Even should it cost me my life.
Too dangerous for you, Herman. But not for me. I'll go to Bad Bach and find the registry.
You will?
I won't let you risk your life.
I don't know how to thank you.
You can start by telling me where I'll find this orphanage.
Vida Grace. Hidden in a forest, overlooking the plains.
All right. I'll see what I can find there.
May the mothers guide you.
I mean, aren't all the Mother Crystal... Well, actually, except for the new, like, where is it, Origin? Can I see it from here? Yeah.
Do you suppose it's magic keeping the thing afloat?
What else could it be?
That thing.
All right, Sid. Come to...
Only if you earn it. Mid needs a piece of light but durable bone for her next
My
project.
apologies.
You've encountered your share of beasts on your travels across the realm. Any ideas?
Most bones are the same. Whack 'em hard enough and they'll break. If it's durability you're looking for, shell will serve you better. You know what an adamantus is?
I killed
I
plenty.
do. And I know to give them a wide berth.
Why would you do that? That
Plenty
sounds
of
like hard
adamantus
work.
do.
Well, with shells, the older the harder. There's a rumour of an ancient Adamantus down in Karava, near Bidza. All what's left of the village anyway. But don't expect to make quick work of the bastard. There's a reason it's lived as long as it has.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
There's something about it.
You're going somewhere, Sid? Can we come? I promise we'll be good.
Ah, Clive, my boy. What a pleasure it is to see you.
Hippocrates. There's something I need to ask you. I've been charged with locating a book called From a Distance.
Then you seek a rare gem indeed. One whose name I had not thought to hear from your lips. You've been talking to Vivian.
Right as always. But she didn't seem keen to tell me very much. I take it she didn't like what you had to say.
And yet I gather it did naught to dissuade her. Clive, if the young professor has tasked you with obtaining a copy, I fear she asks the impossible. The executors would not allow it.
The executors?
Coveters of Secrets. A clandestine organization committed to the collection and intenebration of forbidden texts and technologies. One such text being the tome Vivian seeks, chronicling as it does the true history of the enslavement of bearers. A tale which could overturn the established order were it ever to become widely known. Or, so rumor has it. I've never actually read the thing, or even set eyes on it for that matter.
How is it that I haven't heard of this organization?
Why, secrecy is the executor's watchword. They lurk in the shadows, emerging only to seize that which must be seized, be it books, inventions, or people, before disappearing again, leaving nary a trace.
Which would explain why Vivian's copy was snatched from her grasp not long after she found it.
By the hand of the executors, yes.
But what drives them? Self-interest or ideology?
Fine question. Sadly, all that is known of the executors can be recounted in a single breath. You may just as soon ask me of their origins, numbers, or the identities of their leaders. Any answer I give would be pure speculation.
Then my hunt was doomed from the first. What was Vivian expecting? That I'd pluck it from thin air?
Not from thin air, no. From ash. Rumors of the executors are rife among the scholars of Storm, but rather less so across the strait. I have a friend. Well, I had a friend in the village of Garnick, a collector of rare tomes, upon which subject we would oft correspond. Alas, I have heard naught from him since the skies fell dark. And no doubt he, too, has turned. But, though he did not mention it by name, it is possible that a surviving copy of From a Distance yet rests upon one of his many shelves, quietly awaiting discovery. If you were, by some chance, able to save even a single book from the poor man's library, I know his soul would rest easier.
Very well. When I next find myself in Waloed, I'll be sure to pay Garnick a visit.
I think we'll hit Waloed first. Once we leave the hideout.
Aye, it's a dangerous world out there. Ta-ra then.
Thank you, Karen.
You could do... If you're gonna buy something, be quick about it. Finished, are you?
Say what you will, Lady Karen has seen her.
Pining for something, boy. What is it? What do you see out there? I never did ask where you got that anklet of yours.
From Sid, that's why. On the day he brought him home.
That long ago?
And you're only thinking to ask this now? Sid saw that the pup had a habit of gnawing on his leg, since you ask. Clap that there iron on him to keep him from doing it.
What was wrong, boy?
I'll take like as not. Must have been hard on the poor whelp losing his loving masters at such a young age. Doubly hard in being a frost wolf, torn away from his icons and all. Sid would always tell him, you want my iron gone, you find what it is you're looking for. I reckon what he was looking for was you.
I'm sorry, Torgal. Sorry for making you wait so long. Let's get that thing off you.
Doesn't sound like he wants it off.
No, it did not.
Indeed. You miss Sid as much as the rest of us, don't you? You want me to go with you somewhere?
Quick, aren't you? Glad you've been paying attention.
Not nearly as much as you have, Lady Karen.
Aye, good thing and all. It's not like Gav would have kept him in nuts and rubbed his belly these past 10 summers.
Your kindness is appreciated. You've been a good friend to him.
Only because he doesn't talk back like the rest of you. Go on now.
Where to then, Torgal?
Who knows?
All right, Torgal. Where are you taking me? I'm going to need a little bit more than that, boy. Do you have a better hint for me? Unless... you've already given me one. Back on the rear deck, you were looking west, toward Rosaria. Why don't we try the rookery?
The rookery?
I haven't been to the island in almost 20 years. To Port Isolde, then. Fingers crossed the old mooring is still there.
I guess we'll hit Ravenwitz first.
Doris is waiting for me near Balmung Dark. The longer she's out in the open, the more likely she is to be found by a Kashik. I need to hurry. No guards, I take it?
None manning the gates, no. It's a different story inside, though. The corridors are crawling with Akashic. Most likely guards left behind when the wardens ran. If Chadwick was being held here, I worry that he may already be.
Don't give up hope just yet, but let's move quickly. Let me check the ground floor. The ether's thickest there.
Then I'll search the upper level. Good luck, Sid. Stay safe.
Indeed.
Just how bad are the floods inside the walls? Bad enough to turn a bearer? I hope not. We're risking a lot just being here. Better keep my eyes open for signs of life. Locked up tight.
The Kingdom of Luda hereby designates this facility a prison for the detainment of bearers, both foreign and domestic. The purpose of this facility is to rear and train Akuza beasts for deployment in the field. The aforementioned purpose is a matter of strictest secrecy, and any mention is therefore punishable by death. Captive bearers have been provided solely for the pursuit of the aforementioned purpose. Express permission is required for use of bearers in any other capacity.
So this place was no ordinary prison. And I doubt they'll have taken the creature with them when they fled.
I bet Doris is gonna die. Kuza has long been recognized as an especially aggressive species. This being the case, it was hoped that successful deployment on the battlefield might be a means of inflicting heavy casualties on the enemy. In exercises thus far, however, the beast has proven incapable of distinguishing between allied and enemy commands. Such deployment alongside regular troops is not recommended. It is proposed instead that bear captives be employed in order to draw enemy focus, and the beast then driven into the fray in order to achieve maximum benefit with minimal loss.
Minimal loss of Waluda lives. And what happens when they run out of bearers? Even the Imperials take better care of their branded than that.
Recent supply shortages left us with insufficient resources to feed the Kuza entrusted to our care. Fortunately, the creature was observed to kill and consume the bears assigned to fight beside it in a mock battle conducted as part of its training. The beast was further observed to enter a state of visible contentment upon feeding in this way, suggesting that live bears may even be its preferred source of sustenance. While this behavior is unexpected, it is not unwelcome. Bears, no longer of use for training purposes, can now be repurposed as required.
They were feeding bearers to it. This is even worse than I'd feared.
Yeah.
Nothing but Akashic down here. Hopefully things are looking better upstairs. I should go and see how Doris is getting on.
Have care.
No lock downstairs. But I did find out that this place was more than just a prison. Something far more sinister was happening here.
I know. I've been reading some of these documents, and it can't be true, can it? Bearers die every day in service of their masters, but this is so much worse. Pitting bearers against a wild beast armed with nothing but their wits? And all in order to bring about more death. And not just those who could fight, but the elderly, children even, and those who wouldn't or couldn't were disposed of. Whatever that means.
I'm afraid it means they were fed to the monstrosity they kept here.
Then we're too late. And I was a fool to bring you here.
Don't say that. Did you find anything else?
A key. But it doesn't fit any of the locks on this floor.
Perhaps it will fit one of the doors downstairs. There's a corridor I haven't searched yet. Finish up here, then come and find me when you're ready.
All right. I'll be there in a moment.
Let's see what we can find down here. A survivor. And she sounds close.
Who are you?
There's no need to be afraid. Are you alone? Are there any other survivors?
Some of the guards. They're still here. But something's wrong with them. Everyone else was eaten by the monster.
Of course there were.
Thank the Founder.
It was worth our coming. But I'd rather we didn't linger. Are you ready?
Ready when you are. You poor thing. He must have been terrified.
Did Jadwick send you?
What?
He fought the monster. Distracted it so I could run away. He must have sent you. He promised to free the others too. Where is he? He opened your cell, didn't he? He wouldn't be here otherwise.
Chadwick.
Was that?
Monster's back! Chadwick, help!
We have to get out of here.
Doris, keep the girl safe.
All right. You put that bearer-eating bastard in the ground.
It's out there waiting for me. I can't let it live. Not if it's got a taste for bearers.
Damn, I'm gonna save before this fight. There we go. Save. That's like a fucking behemoth on steroids.
The beast will wreak havoc if it ever leaves the prison. I can't let that happen.
Oh my.
Well done, Tom. Nice try.
Nice.
Finally.
Sid, are you hurt?
I'm fine. I think.
No.
What is it?
A diary. I gave it to Chadwick before we went our separate ways. He was here. Do you think that creature?
I'm sure he fought bravely to the last. The girl is safe thanks to him.
Chadwick. You fool.
Come on. We have to get her back to the hideaway. We don't want his sacrifice to have been in vain.
No. Of course not. I'll see that she's looked after from now on. It's the least I can do.
I wasn't expecting it to teleport us back to the hideaway.
From what I hear, you've barely left the girl's side in days. I hope she's recovering from her ordeal.
She is. Slowly but surely. She's far tougher than she looks. I thank the flames we found her. If we hadn't...
I know. But we did. I'm sorry we weren't able to save Chadwick.
There's no need to apologize. Without your help, I would never have found out what happened to him. How he fought to the bitter end to save her. To save Haida Marie. That's the man I remember. The man I thought of as a brother.
I wish I could have met him. I'd like to hear more about your past. If you don't mind, that is.
Of course. You already met my former master. She trained Chadwick and I to do two things. Kill and obey. We were supposed to be sold to the highest bidder when the time came. But no bid was ever high enough to convince her to part with us. For years we were her daggers in the shadows. But we could never quite shake our doubts about the things she made us do. And then, one day, we just couldn't do them anymore. So we escaped. But staying together was out of the question. They would have found us too easily. After so many years of training, the pull to serve was always strong. It scared me to think he might have taken another master, become a dagger in someone else's hand.
But even in captivity, the battles he fought were his own. And he died not as someone's tool, but as a hero.
Haida Marie is proof of that. Bearers can cast off their shackles. And the Cursebreakers will show them how. I'll fight until my dying breath to see it done. For Chadwick, and for all of us.
Thank you, Doris. We'll be counting on you.
Level up. Nearly at 3,000 HP. Oh. The Breath of Darkness. Gungnir. Nah. Ooh, I found something new over there. The Wooler army captured such beasts and trained them to serve, but this particular specimen's training has long since ceased. Whether its captors turned to Akashic with the rest of their comrades, or were eaten by their pet when it came to break free from its bonds, we shall never know. All we do know is there's none left alive, and his were split into a rampage. Only a show of force will suffice. Could it be back where we fought the first one?
Welcome to the Patron's Whisper. Is everything we've received and everything promised?
If the drunken galley captain I shared a table with last night is to be believed, word of your exploits had made its way across the seas to the great continent. What more, she claims there are those who would see you flourish, herself being one such woman, Gareth. What does this do? Okay, well, we don't know
All
until...
yours. Best of luck out there, Sid.
Increases damage dealt to enemies by 5%. I don't think I need the XP much anymore. We'll go back here. We'll check Ravenwit wall, that area before again. Beyond that, I don't...
Let's go.
Yeah!
All right. That'll do, girl.
I was right. And I didn't grab health stuff, so... Oh wait, no, I was wrong. There's a boss there. Is he there? Could also be there. I think we'll check that area.
Run like the wind.
The F-class beasts generally have their own little arena.
This must be the orphanage. Hopefully the registry is still...
Yeah, so it's probably going to be either here or there.
Yeah. It's locked. I should look around some more before I start breaking down doors.
These exercises consist of the press yard, 20 sandbags for each for such duration as such instructor shall dictate. The furnace burn intensity to be gradually increased. Live combat 1 to 3 hellhounds depending on performance.
Conditioning. This is nothing short of torture.
The Kingdom of Elude hereby incorporates this institution wherein juvenile bears are to be granted the opportunity to give themselves in service of the state as soldiers. Trainees succumbing to the crystal's curse or otherwise perishing are to be disposed of with all haste. The graveyard is strictly reserved for the uncursed. Bearer disposal within its bounds is punishable by death.
Disposed of? Herman wasn't exaggerating. It's a wonder he survived this place. I need to...
I recently learned that my own daughter was among the children turned to stone by the brutal training I subjected them to. I had not so much as thought of her since handing her over to the authorities as a babe, but inquiries with the military confirmed it was her. I had been torturing my own flesh and blood, and now I see her everywhere. Today one of the children smiled at me in the hope of receiving a few scraps from my table. It was her smile, the smile she inherited from her mother, the mother I killed for giving birth to a bearer. The ghosts have all come back to haunt me. My daughters, my wife, all of them, all those children, so many of them at my hands. I can bear the guilt no longer, so I have decided. Tomorrow, I too must die. It will be the last order I give those poor wretches, the last torment I subject them to. I will command them to tear me limb from limb and inter my accursed corpse beneath the white tree whose crooked hands reach the sky in all supplication. And beside me, my shame, my curse, the record of all their names, and all those I have wronged.
This reads like a suicide note. Did the director go through with his plan?
How is that anything but a suicide note? Well, that is a suicide note. Like, how could that not be a suicide note?
Forked white tree. This must be the place. Could he really be buried here? There's something hidden among the roots. Let's see. This must be the registry.
Ooh, okay. 846V08E 16 days. 16D. Hans, 10 years old, lithification. Alfred, 9 years old, succumbed to conditioning. Franz, 12 years old, lithification. Paulina, 10 years old, emaciation. 846V08E 17D. Bruno, 11-year-old, disciplined for attempted flight. Joanna, 12 years old, disciplined for attempted flight. 846V09E 18D. Reinhard, 9 years old, succumbed to condition. Marta, 10 years old, succumbed to conditioning. Lothar, 12 years old, lithification. Dietrich, 11 years old, emaciation. 846V09E 19D. ...
So many names. This place was a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
But where is the architect of all this misery? It was only a matter of time, I suppose. This place is cursed.
Yes, 5,000.
I'm done.
Okay, here.
Let's get the registry back to Herman.
Personally, I want to see what's in this building.
This one's awake.
Chronoliths are similar to the redstone that is within them. That is within them is a hidden virtual battlefield accessible by Clive and Clive alone. Each chronolith presents Clive with a time trial in which he must combat continuous waves of deadly enemies equipped with only the feat and abilities of a single icon.
Let's see what's inside.
Sure. I just upgraded Odin. To complete the trial, Clive must defeat all enemies before timelines not only using the predetermined feat and abilities of a single icon. Time being extended by performing certain battle techniques specified with the start of each trial phase. Oh, I didn't. Okay, I understand how that works now. That was only stage 1. Okay. Interesting.
Nice try.
Interesting. Dancing steel, yeah. Oh man, that was actually relatively hard. Is it done? Rule of threes? This one looks slightly different. Final stage. What the hell am I facing? Ah, this. Dancing Steel Gunganir. Will be a whole lot easier.
Finished.
Oh my god. That was absolutely terrifying. Sorry, I don't think that's very useful for mankind. Dude, that was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. I've been playing games for 9 years. Well, pretty much, I've been playing games my entire life. That was Do I get a bonus, like a buff? A new level of crown with difficulty. The final trial is now available within the hideaways at Redstone. Okay. That sounds absolutely horrible. I'm going to do that. So where the hell is this? I sincerely doubt that that's there. How the hell do I get down from here? Oh, well, going the wrong way. First off. Gotta be honest, the only place I still think that's appropriate for an S-class beast is that arena.
The entire village looks abandoned. Now, which house would a bookworm live in?
Well, this looks like the house of a bookworm already. In the wake of the tragic fire at Cair Novrant 873V and the subsequent depletion of most of our highly practiced intelligencer, all mainland strongholds were instructed to redouble training in clandestine maneuvers, improvised weaponry, and assassination techniques, and dispatch promising volunteers to Stonehere for inspection. This report details progress made by the stronghold at Garnick in reinvigorating Wuluder's ranks of esteemed intelligence.
This is a Royal Army logbook. Did he take this from the local barracks?
Etir Fotida, or Tale of Wyvern, white of flower, black of root, the latter which gives out an inky gall when cut or crushed. The tribesmen of Northern Storm prick their skin with oaken needles in such strong, curious patterns about their arms and legs. In honor of their heathen gods, the gall is passing toxate. That a single drop taken by mouth may result in cramps, most painful for for 5 days and 5 nights, or if applied to a wound, certain death. Should a slip of the needle end a young warrior's life, it is said that his skin print failed to find favor among the heavens.
His interests were certainly varied.
Well, the Moogle. No spirit or sprite appears more often in Palestinian folk tales than the humble Moogle, though they are occasionally painted as mischievous souls akin to pixies or imps. Most stories depict them as clumsy yet congenial spirits who delight in helping mankind with their daily labors. They are said to have sweet tooths, leading to their common superstition that one must not leave cake or other sweetmeats uncovered overnight, lest naught remain but crumbs once come morning. And appearance they are described as being covered head to toe in soft white fur, excepting the small dark wings by which they are somehow able to take flight, and the brightly colored pom-poms that protrude from the tops of their heads. And yet there is one detail regarding the Moogle that most find more remarkable than even the orb that tops his brow: the fact that the creatures actually exist. Preposterous, I hear you cry. Everybody knows Moogles are the stuff of legend. I quite agree, but every legend has its basis within truth. In the case of the Moogle, the fact may not be so dissimilar to the fiction. Ancient bestiaries list the white mole whose feet do not touch the ground among the beasts of the realm, and the illustration beside the name white is none other than the Moogle. Of course, it is true that the creatures are not known to still survive in the twins in the modern day. Perhaps their miniature wings carried them to other climes. Perhaps they were hunted to extinction. Or perhaps, just perhaps, they still do live among us, hidden away far from human view. From a distance. That's kind of funny. Chapter 16. The... Wait. Yeah, 16. The Fall of the Bears. The emergence of the first magic adepts was widely heralded as a gift from the gods. Indeed, the title with which most of those gifts came to be commonly known is most likely a contraction of Bearer of the Heavenly Blessing, the wording used by the tribunes of the time. Those born with the blessing were lauded as a living crystal and granted high office and plentiful reward for the status of chosen one. Over the years, this reverence for their kind would become a full-fledged religion led by the bearers themselves, a development that would prove faithful. The divers of the nation at the time were unanimous of their disapproval of the founding of the church, while the authorities had for years welcomed bearers in positions of power in their own structures of state. They are mistrusting of an organization led by bearers for bearers. Efforts are immediately made to chasten the church and its followers, banning members from holding office, evicting adherents from their homes, and breaking up meeting by force. The church responded by forming a volunteer army to resist this persecution, and yet it continued, creating a cycle of ever-increasing bloodshed and rancor, a growing rift between those born with the blessing and those without. What began with beatings and secret clashes in street clashes would eventually spill over into an all-out war to consume the greater part of the twins for nigh a generation and decimated the population of men and bears, both the deluge of blood that stained the land crimson and left an even more lasting mark upon the minds of Valestian people. After the bears' last resistance was crushed, the nations of Valistea came together to sign a continental accord that initiated the system of slavery that persists across the realm to this day. Its well-known phrase, "bearers are other than human," has its root in the bitter war of the years before, being the unblessed's only excuse for their calamitous refusal to allow the blessed to decide their own destinies.
This is it. But if what it says is true, I need to get this back to the hideaway.
The fights?
Leaving so soon, stranger?
Oh, it's the suspicious character.
We've been watching you. From a distance.
No.
So to speak.
Subtle. I know who you are.
Then we need not waste time on introductions. Hand me the book. Leave it in our care and return to your life.
Your care? Do you mean to burn it or bury it?
That is not my decision to make. But by one means or another, its contents shall be removed from the common record.
Then I'll have to politely refuse. I won't let you erase our history.
Then we find ourselves at an impasse. Very well. The book can just as easily be pried from your dead hand.
Let's see, shall we? finished. Well done, Tom.
Noise.
Impressive. But we have other means. We shall claim the book yet.
Why do you want it so badly anyway?
It lays out in no uncertain terms the vanity and avarice of mankind. It tells the shameful history of the persecution and oppression of a gifted few by a giftless many. Would you say that this interpretation was correct?
I don't know.
You don't know. Your sword may be sharp, but your wits
No,
are dull.
his
So let me
decision.
answer for you. There is no correct interpretation of history.
Well, true,
That
yeah.
a series of events took place may be proved beyond a doubt. But there can be no
Yes.
single, immutable explanation as to why they came to pass. It is a question of numbers and of belief. If enough people believe that a set of events occurred for a reason, that belief becomes the truth.
So you're trying to control the truth?
We are trying to protect people from themselves, from knowledge that would bring them naught but pain. That is all. You may keep the book, for now. The world is small. We shall meet again. Until then.
Wait. Damn it. Let's get this back to Vivian. Perhaps she can explain what that was all about.
Okay, but before we do that, I'm gonna find this S-Class.
Fly, Ambrosia.
Well, we found it. Behemoth King.
Another of the Royalist guard dogs. Quite a specimen of these two. Get her all ready.
There we go. That was hard, but that was fun. A lot of EXP. 8 or Calcon.
No match for you, eh, Torgal?
Let's travel back to the hideaway and leave it. I shall. Oh, the Doris quest is done, so it's just Vivian and the dude up there.
Vivian. I found it. The book you lost.
You found it. Thank you, Clive. Even though I asked this of you, I was not entirely sure it would be possible. I feared the executors had seized every copy.
I met with one of these executors, and I convinced him to let me keep it. He told me something. That the truth is just a matter of collective belief. And that if enough people believe a lie, that lie becomes the truth.
It does. But it also means that the truth is not immutable. That it can be changed. Provided that those who wish to change it can convince enough people that their perspective is the correct one. As the sad history of the Bearers proves.
You said that the book inspired you to become a scholar.
It did. Or its author, rather. She was a heretic, you see. A firebrand and a dissenter. A gallows stood ready for her in every corner of the realm. And by shunning society, or perhaps being shunned by it, she stumbled upon a truth so potent that an entire realm trembled at the prospect of its utterance. I, too, have always felt somehow set apart from the world of men. A stranger to my own species. She taught me that my solitude was not a curse, but a gift. And that, though my journey to the truth might be a lonely one, what I found at my destination would be more than worth the cost.
Do you still feel that way? That you're not one of us?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure anymore. Since coming to the hideaway, I find my thinking somewhat clouded. Perhaps the result of studying mankind from a rather closer perspective than I had intended. But the more I study, the more I find value in this perspective. In looking not from the outside, but from within. So if you'll permit me, I'd like to continue my work here. Remember, Clive, when enough people believe, belief begets truth. Give the men and women of this benighted world the gift of truth. Make them believe in you, as I do.
I'll try, Vivian. I'll try.
Words of wisdom. Vivian Ninetail's scholarly headwear, awarded to her at the completion of her studies at the University of Canberra. Give the men and women of this benighted world the gift of truth. Make them believe in you as I do. Vivian Ninetails. Chris came across the creature while searching for survivors near the abandoned village of Garnick. Misled by the abomination's appearance into thinking she might be a local woman, they went to offer her help, but soon it was they who were seeking salvation. The survivors say they can still hear the screams, both those of the white and those of their fallen comrades. Garnick Elude. Guess I'm going to be heading back to Elude shortly. Another quest there? Holy hell.
I hear that you traveled to Ash, Cid. Did you by any chance recover the names of my fallen friends?
I did. Yes.
If I may, the bearer registry. The director was a brutal man. He got no worse than he deserved.
The registry was all I found beneath the tree. There was no sign of a body, nor any record of what happened to the children after the orphanage closed.
I pray that at least some of them survived. All their names are here. The ones we lost. My friends. My light in those dark times. I can still remember their faces, like it was yesterday. Children who were taken from their bunks in the morning, never to return. No explanation ever offered.
They'd be happy to know that you survived, Herman.
But why did I make it out alive, when so many others died in that awful place?
It's not your fault. And blaming yourself won't bring them back. Honor their memory. See that their names live on. That way, at least. They're never truly gone.
Thank you, Cid. I'm going to write a book. An account of the horrors of Badbach, and the spirit of those its custodians sought to crush. All of Valisthea will know of our suffering. And in the name of those I lost, I will not let it happen again.
Neither will I.
These records would have been buried for all eternity, were it not for you. Thank you.
Well, let's hope this account isn't done by the executors. No.
Whatever should I write next?
Say what you will, Lady Karen has seen herself.
Still alive, are you? What are you still here for? Go on, then. You'll not find a better price than that. It'd better all be here. You got out else? I'll be thankful you got that much. I reckon I can find a buyer. I'll be thankful you got that much. Come again. Or don't. I'm not much bothered either way.
Making amends. Master Clive, I'm aware there were matters of much greater import to your attention, but I think you found yourself. But should you find yourself in it, I bid you visit me in the shelves, that I might ask a single favor concerning His Highness Prince Dion.
It's usually me making demands of Hippocrates. I wonder what this is about. Lordsman Hippocrates, I received your note.
Ah, yes. I expect you're wondering what this is all about.
You spoke of making amends with Dion, but I can't imagine what for.
Then I should begin by telling you that I was once his tutor. This was some years ago, of course, before I joined Cid in his hideaway. At that time, I was counted among the foremost scholars of Oriflamme, and was accordingly invited to the palace to supervise the young prince's education, all to ensure that the future emperor had a firm grounding in, well, everything an emperor should. History, religion, commerce, government. Alas, our time together was cut short when Dion left to join the dragoons, his studies no longer being deemed necessary. I had not expected to meet with him again, least of all here.
Have you spoken with him?
No, I have yet to find the right moment. His Highness always seems so preoccupied, especially when alone. I would not wish to disturb his ruminations with idle words of greeting, not when I know he dwells upon the evil Ultima had him commit in the Dominion.
The guilt weighs heavily on him, I know. But as you say, that was Ultima's doing. Surely you can't blame yourself.
When I first met him, it was not guilt, but his people's expectations that weighed heavily upon him, and I did nothing to ease that burden. He bore it alone, until the day he could not bear it any longer. It is one of my greatest regrets that I only ever offered him my wisdom, when what he truly needed was friendship. The blame for Dion's transgressions lies not only on his shoulders, but on mine.
I see. I'm ready to help you in any way that I can.
Then I beg that you bring me a wild wyvern tail. Apothecaries across the ages agree that even to glimpse such a flower is to be granted inner solace. Fabulists and fraudsters all, of course. But there is oft a seed of truth to be found where even the most outlandish opinions align.
Well, it can't hurt to try. Where can I find this flower? And how will I know it?
You have seen cultivated wyvern tails before, I trust. The lily-white blossoms from whose roots the poisonous ink for the brand is distilled. Well, those which grow in the wild differ only in their purple hue. The harsher the environment in which they are raised, the deeper the colour. There is a waterfall in Rickmal's roost across the strait, where the flowers once grew in abundance. Whether they still survive there, I know not. But try as I might, I can find no likelier location.
It's all right. I'll find you a wyvern tail one way or another.
Thank you, Clive. And please, be safe.
We'll hit Tabor first.
Are you buying or selling? Come again.
Your Grace, my lord, I trust your journey was not overly onerous. Yes, I have it here. If you would do us the honor, my lord.
Whew, I know that I ask much of you in this coming war, but I see no other way to secure a future for our duchy and family. Yet even should we succeed in subduing the savages and winning back Drake's breath, the threat of the Blight still looms. And only with all Rosaria striving as one might we last overcome it. I made plans to see us through, but such are the obstacles that stand in our way. It shall likely fall to you to continue our work. I know that you have the strength, the courage, and the will to do so. This shall be an arduous inheritance, and so I offer you another, that you might be reminded of love and the faith that I hold for both of you, your father. Damn.
An inheritance.
It would seem the late Archduke penned this missive shortly before his passing.
The day before we left for Phoenix Gate.
What are these plans he spoke of?
His plans for the duchy, Your Grace. Your father entrusted them to my predecessor, the former bearer of the Burning Quill, who entrusted them in turn to me. The complete emancipation of bearers is their stated aim. But your father's dream did not end there. His Grace also spoke of building hospices to care for those stricken by the curse, and the founding of a new university to further the development of non-magical technologies. With the Blight spreading ever more widely across the Twins, Archduke Elwyn saw this as the only means of securing Rosaria's survival.
He wished to see men and bearers treated as equals. To see centuries of common wisdom overturned. Small wonder he did not think it achievable within his lifetime.
But he thought it achievable nonetheless. Had he not, he would never have written this message. Nor would he have entrusted his vision to his most faithful aides, those who would have stood with you, shielded you from the machinations of the less benevolent personages at court.
It's a pity only they are still with us.
'Tis true that those most loyal to your father were the first to suffer the Duchess's wrath. But one at least remains, and she has come bearing gifts.
What do you mean?
Mayhap it is better that she explain, my lord. After all, the duties entrusted to me by my predecessor extended only to recovering His Grace's will and arranging a meeting with the one who might execute it, or a part of it at least.
And where is this woman?
She awaits you in the archive, Your Grace.
Thank you, Cyril. Shall we then?
The archive. Hours all fucking ready.
My lord, your grace.
Who are you?
I hardly recognize you.
And who are you?
I am Goditha, retainer of House Rosfield, loyal servant to the Phoenix and his shields. Your father, the Archduke Elwyn, entrusted me with the delivery of a gift. I only hope you can forgive my tardiness in bringing it to you.
Lift up your head, Lady Goditha. You have our gratitude for your service to our house and to our father.
I merely did my duty, as any proud Rosarian would.
My lady, perhaps you could explain a little more? What exactly is the gift you bring?
As I'm sure you know, it has long been the custom for the children of House Rosfield to be presented with certain keepsakes upon their coming of age.
Indeed it has. Our father often spoke of the day when our turn would come.
And had he lived to see it, he would have presented you with the treasures I bear. Matching armbands for you both. Alas, he did not live. Indeed, he was taken from us even before they could be completed. He had intended to claim the Heartstone with which each armband was to be finished himself, but it was not to be. And his gifts remain incomplete.
I see.
It saddens me to bring them before you, as they are. It was your father's wish that you be presented with the finished articles, not these works in progress. But with his grace long since gone, and the stone left unclaimed, I had little choice. You are grown men now, and his house is yours. And while I would not presume to insist upon your claiming the Heartstone in his stead, I know that nothing would have pleased him more than for you to do so.
Thank you, Lady Goditha.
What say you, Clive?
What else? Of course, my lady. May our father's will be done.
Oh, I am much obliged.
Do you know where we might find this Heartstone, my lady?
I do. Though it may be a matter of a good deal more than simply happening upon it. It is found in the bellies of elder griffins, you see. We do at least know where to find one. A certain specimen has made its nest in Titan's Wake, not far from here.
A certain specimen?
You are most perceptive, Your Grace. In answer to your unspoken question, yes. In fact, this is the very same beast your father meant to slay. I have been tracking its movements since you were but a boy. Were you to slay it in his stead, as men of House Rosfield, it would surely make your father proud.
What say you, Joshua?
What else?
Well... we'll take care of this, probably head back to Tabor, and then we're gonna end the stream.
Come on.
God damn it. I never expect the turn to be right there.
Eyes peeled, Joshua.
There it is. For House Rosfield. Too slow.
I just used a high version of eliminating. No! Nice.
Is this the Heartstone?
Oh, thank the Founder you were safe. The Griffin is slain then?
And the Heartstone claimed.
Yes. This radiant luster, like frozen flame, it is just as your father described it. Thank you, my lord. Your Grace. Your father would be so proud.
Lady Goditha, the lapidary is ready.
Thank you, Cyril. I will be with him shortly. If you would excuse me, I shall have the stone cut and set forthwith. The armbands are complete. Pray, take them. They are yours, after all. Heartstone is harder and more enduring than garnet, or even ruby. It symbolizes unwavering will and devotion. And the graven vines encircling the stone represent the unbreakable bonds between you.
It's a message. Father knew we had enemies both inside and outside the duchy. Enemies who would thwart his vision. Only with unwavering devotion would it ever be realized.
And only if we stood together, as Phoenix and Shield, as brothers in arms. Only then might those enemies be overcome.
Indeed. His Grace knew the enormity of the task he would entrust to you, his heirs. But this was more than just a message. It was a promise. That he would always be with you.
Thank you, Lady Goditha, for remaining the steadfast custodian of our father's will.
Forgive me, my lady, but there is something I don't quite understand. The Undying told me that after Father died, Mother claimed all of the ducal treasures for her own. Even if the armbands were incomplete, she would surely not have overlooked them. So, how were you able to keep them from her?
Because I was the keeper of the vault. Though I was but a lowly servant, your father spoke to me of his intentions for the bands, of the deep love he had for both of you, and his hopes for your future. In the days before the disaster at Phoenix Gate, I discovered that the Duchess had ordered her jewellery be sent away from the castle. It was then that I knew she meant to betray us. I tried to warn your father, but it was too late. When word of the fire reached Rosalith, I knew my time was short. So I took up the armbands and I fled into the night.
And thank the Founder you did.
Yet my duty to your father was incomplete. Not knowing what else to do, I followed the Griffin, thinking I might claim the Heartstone on its passing. And so my pursuit continued, until Lord Cyril appeared before me. He informed me that His Grace's will had been recovered, and that his sons were alive and well.
Lady Goditha, on behalf of my father and all the people of Rosaria, I thank you for your loyal service.
As do I.
Thank you, my lord. Your Grace, for coming back to us. For giving my service meaning.
The bands suit you well.
Where are they?
It must be gratifying to finally receive the inheritance that was denied you for so long.
It is. And we thank you for the part you played, Cyril.
If you would permit me to play my part a little longer, might I suggest that you make your way to your father's memorial atop Hawk's Cry Cliff? Let him see that you have received his blessing, and that his vision lives on in you.
I suppose it would be churlish not to. What do you say, Clive? Should we pay Father a visit?
I think we should. I was hoping to be able to offer him my thanks before we left for Origin.
Your father's helm is enshrined there. It has been since the day we recovered it from Phoenix Gate. I prithee claim it, for it too is a part of your inheritance, and I do not doubt that your father would prefer it in your hands than perched upon some lonely rock.
Thank you, Cyril. Come on, Clive. He's waiting. Unwavering will and an unbreakable bond. Do you really think we're strong enough?
Save the world? Of course. To have overcome Father's political enemies? Of that I'm less certain. Especially knowing what we know now. What Mother was truly capable of. But perhaps these bands would have helped. Knowing he was with us would have made all the difference.
It's just back there.
I remember how I assumed that this was a battle area.
Father always fought for what he believed was right. It wasn't until that night at Phoenix Gate that I realized I had never fought for anything. I always had someone else to do the fighting for me.
No matter how fate conspired against him, he never lost heart, never looked back, never stopped fighting. To me, he was the greatest of men. I've been trying to live up to his ideals ever since.
We all have, Clive. We all have. And we'll keep trying. Because that's what he would have wanted.
What he would have done himself. Even if it meant standing against the very gods in the heavens.
I shall be borrowing this, Father, if I may. That you might watch over us as we follow in your footsteps.
A ghost? The way he was standing! It looks like he had like slightly bended legs and he's holding the sword weirdly.
We won't lay you down.
Onward then.
Onward. To the end.
And to a new beginning.
Rusted battle helm. Archduke Owen's helm, worn during his victorious campaign to quell the Northern Uprising. War is coming, my boy. We must make ready. I assumed we also would have gotten armbands as like a accessory. Joshua has joined Clive's party and will remain with him until departing for Origin. Okay. Okay, going to the hideaway, ending it. I need a mental break. This game is fun, but it's just holy shit, 2 hours of just side quests. That's 2 hours of just side quests is just fucking insane.